Good morning, everyone. 11:47 a.m. and it is one of those days again in South Florida. Samantha, we're going to be off the turf again today. The main track is listed as good. We've been dodging raindrops for a few days now.
Yeah, we have, unfortunately, but the good news is it's beautiful outside today, and we've got the all-weather Tapeta surface, so not a lot of changes.
Yeah, we got a $100,000 guesstimate in the Rainbow Six, which is going to kick off in race 5. I will have a ticket for that, so we got to look forward to that. It's already up to 100,000. Seems like they hit it 2 days ago, just about.
Does,
so it really
yeah.
builds. It is the time to play this thing. You got a chance to make some money in there. So taking care of that. Like I mentioned, we're off the turf this afternoon. Our first race today is going to be 7.5 furlongs. It was going to be 7.5 furlongs on the turf. Now that moves to 1 mile and 70 yards on the Tapeta,
Yeah.
and this race has a couple of scratches of the 6 and the 12. Jockey change on number 11. Dudes off, right, is the way you pronounce it, I think, in there. And Brian has an early pick 5 ticket that he wants to show you.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it here. $32 play, and it's got a single at the end, which is good. The first couple races, they're tricky, so I do like the fact that he is spreading a bit. Race 3, the 2 logical horses, Ron, of Chloe's Toy and Gail's Evening. Race 4, 2 deep as well, the 2 and the 7. And there's his single in race 5, the number 7. Whatever will be, will be. Dave Fox having a very good last couple weeks.
Oh, man, he's been on fire, really.
Yeah.
Just by looking at horse, I think I picked him as a long shot like 3 different times, over the last week
Yeah.
or so, just because his horses have been running so well. So with that said, this race, first race, was tough on the turf,
Yep.
and now it's going to be tough on the Tapeta. There's so many different ways to go in here. So let's start off with your horse's excuses in here. I think, I have it in second. I went with Scarecrow, but I could have gone either way.
Yeah, this horse excuses really shouldn't have any of those today because he is a half to a horse named Catch a Tiger who won long on the turf course here. This is a horse that at the sale I thought this horse needed as long as he can go. And he's going to get the 2 turns today.
Going to get the 2 turns. I just couldn't figure. I didn't trust anyone. So I as far as the previous runners, I did use your horse a little further down. But I went with Scarecrow. This one from Jorge Delgado's barn. A son of Neolithic. You're getting Sammy Camacho in the saddle. So I'm just playing a percentage that this horse will run well. And you could see that Brian went deep in those first couple of races, and rightly so. And what did you see with the one with Jerry O'Dwyer? Had a nice day yesterday. I think he had a win in a second.
He did, yeah. He almost won 2. Win with Faith. Just another one of these horses that's just kind of plotted at the 7 furlongs in the sprint distance and now is going to get to the 2 turns. I really thought that this horse was going to love the grass just because of his action. Now we've got the Tapeta. Word is still out. I still like to treat them as different surfaces. Sometimes they transfer, sometimes they don't. We'll have to see here with Win with Faith.
So, as we mentioned, a good race to start up because if you got figured out, you can get rewarded. We're going to be on the main track for race number 2. It's 5.5 furlongs, and when we came on the air, the track was listed as good, but Pete Aiello will be on right after us, and he'll update you with everything. And in the second race, as I mentioned, 5.5, they're maiden-claiming 2-year-olds. We had a scratch in here of the number 6, Improbable Me. And we have a jockey change on the number 4, Temperature Rising. Make that rider David Baracco. And we'll see how it starts here. Do we have a ticket here that we're going to, is Brian?
Yeah, it'll just be a run back of his pick 4. But we have a replay.
You have a replay.
Yeah, this is my long shot here. God with us. I like the way this horse breezed at the OBS June sale. Only sold for $37,000, but for a spun to run, that's honestly not that bad. It was 92 degrees here, Ron, and this horse worked 10-1. I'm not saying that this horse is some killer. They're in for 16 here, but he is zippy, and that is one thing that I like. You can see it, and at 92 degrees, trust me, there were a couple horses I watched during this time of day, and they had a hard time breaking 10-3. So I think that that's significant there. It's going to be a price. I don't know how he'll handle the mud, but I hope he will.
Yeah, no, so we'll see how that works out. I did go in the first time started myself with the number 2, Tis the Moon from Jose Garofalo. And you know what? You can see it's a son of Tis the Law. What sort of sold me on it was in this wide open affair was that bullet work,
Yes.
that gate work out of there, which was a pretty nice move, 37 and 2, best on the ticket for that day coming out of the gate. So I used that as my guide in race number 2.
Yeah, I think that's a good play too, especially whenever you've been breezing at Gulfstream here on the local track. But a horse we have further down, I do want to show stat because this surprised me, and I think it will shock you too, with Kathleen O'Connell debuting and maiden claiming. She's 17%, and it's a big sample. I thought this was impressive because with first-time starters, you don't really think of her as prolific with that.
Yeah, and this is a good stat. And like you said, I love the fact that it's 120 horses, not, something. So she's been doing it for a long time and doing it very well.
Yep.
So a horse we both had on our ticket there. And we basically, the 3-horse Ruiz Jr., I don't know, maybe grabs a share underneath or something like that. So that's the first 2 in here. We'll flip the page. And this race here is on the Tapeta at 5 furlongs. It's a starter optional claimer. And it's got fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, which are started for a claiming price of $12.5 or less. We do have a big scratch in here. The morning line favorite is the number 8, St. Pat's Day. And, it's sort of opens up the race. So I did not have that one on top. I
didn't either.
You didn't either. So I had the 5 on top. You have the 6. I think we got a video of both those horses, right?
Yep, we do. They matched up last time. They both didn't win the race, but they finished second and third. So wanted to just show the end of this. Now, Chloe's Toy just is a filly to me that sometimes I think she can be a little bit against it because Founders Day just wired this field easily. Gale's Evening pushed the pressure up early on and kind of paid the price. And Chloe's Toy just picked up some pieces late. I mean, these are the 2 that you want. I feel like Gale's Evening did a little bit of the harder running in this spot.
I went with Chloe's Toy because it's going to move to the Rohan Crichton barn after the claim. Makes his first start since finishing third. But you look at the stats, he's 21% with new claims. He's 24% with the 61 to 180-day layoff. And, it does good work when jockey Jesus Rios is in the saddle. That's what made me flip these 2.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, I think if you, on your ticket, using both of them would be a good idea.
Exactly. So let's go to race number 4 this afternoon. And this one originally scheduled for 1 mile on the turf, now to be run on the Tapeta, at 1 mile 70 yards. It's a maiden claimer, and these are 3-year-olds and up. Scratch the 4, never say never. And Samantha's got a tropical Tapeta picked right there. I have to remember that.
I know, yeah, it get confusing, but it's still tropical and it's still a nice little play. It's a skinny play for me because I don't think it's going to pay that great today. I mean, I think this is such a great bet because even if it does get a little chalky, it still pays very well. But punch this a few times because that's what I'm going to do. I'm singling right off the bat. Race number 8, Ron, a little bit later. I'm just singling with the 8 here. This could be one of those you could throw your favorite all ball at, but I didn't go that way because with you, I didn't want to get kicked off the set. And in the finale race number 10, I do have the 10 on top. Sudoku Terry, $9.
We were almost exact until the last race. I just was watching. I got dialectic on top. That's
the speed is going to help there.
Yeah, that's what I went with that. But we're thinking alike with 70, especially with the number 7 Remington in here. You got a video you want to show?
Yeah, this was a good effort. Now, this was on the Tapeta and 2 starts back. Now, this is when Rimerton was with Arnold Dauber. Now, this is the second start off the claim for trainer Jorge Delgado. What a huge move here, because if this horse could run like this from the 12 post and with different connections who are not as strong as Jorge Delgado, this horse to me looks down the road, Ron. This was a good race. Sting Music, you got that horse home a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. So you exactly what you said is what I believe. What a difference one race to the next, and you're expecting a good second and off that claim by the connections, and I think it's going to run well. What about the number 6, Regular Army?
I wanted to see this horse on the grass. I actually had this horse on top, and I flipped him once that we got off the grass here. I don't know how we'll handle the Tapeta. We'll see, but I remembered this horse from that Merit race. almost this time last year, about 7 months ago, 8 months ago. But I thought this horse had a lot of grass action. I don't know. It's Todd Pletcher. It's good to see him back. This is a big drop. I don't think this horse is anything to write home about, but maybe can get a piece.
I had some interest in the number 3 Ragay Man is back locally and racing without the blinkers this afternoon. It was a race after consecutive fourth-place finishes at Colonial. It's hard to gauge. I think the 3-year-old was 2 for 3 in the money here on the turf. I don't know what we're going to get on the Topita today.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But the earlier races in his career, at least, he hit the board.
Yeah, so we'll see that plays out, with the move. And I think Remington is the one to beat in there, so for sure. We're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we'll have my Rainbow Six ticket.
And they're off.
New DRF All Access Past Performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Easily switch between views. Access the most trusted information in horse racing with DRF All Access Past Performances. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Ron and Samantha here bright and early, just a couple of minutes before noon. And if you're just joining us, hey, it's South Florida. We've been dodging rain for a while. We're off the turf, but we got the Topita, which is amazing how many horses stay that were on turf go to Topita. It's been an absolute success. We're starting the day with a good track, main track, but Pete will be on, as I mentioned, right after us, and update you with everything you need to know. So that's the early business here. The Rainbow Six is going to start today with a $100,000 guesstimate. We'll call it whatever you want to. They think they'll be, and they're usually right on. So let's look at my ticket today, and it's not an expensive one, $28.80. We'll talk about the 5th race. When you go to the 6th race, that one, I went deep in there because I just wasn't sold on anybody. The horse I put on top, Frosty the Roman, is actually 10-1. In race number 7, I think the race goes through the 7 and the 8, and that's Proverb and Concrete Glory. And I think we got a video we're going to show there. Race number 8 came off the turf, mile in the 16th. I went with the 8. That's the one you singled in your tropical turf. Daniel Son. And, of course, my son is Daniel. And we got hit with the scratch bomb in the race number 9. We only have a 4-horse field, so I did only go too deep with the 4, Prevent, and the 6, Freedom Principle. And in the last race, I'm going with the speed in there. I'm single and dialectic. That was my best bet, albeit it was for the turf. But I look back. I like the way this horse runs on the Topita, so I'm taking a shot there. Who do I have in second? The horse you used in there. So, we'll see how it is, how it plays out. So that's for me. It's $28.80. No, it's not $43.20. And I'm very curious to see how you went in here. And would you went with the number 7 horse in here? Oh, that's whatever will be. Yeah,
this horse here, I think that the race last time going 7 furlongs was really good, and this horse was headed as well. I think he should handle the 1 mile nicely. He had that 7 furlong prep going into it, and I think this horse's finishing style and the post position today is perfect.
And that is Brian Single, I believe, in his early pick 5. And it's David Forks, who we've been singing his praises. Just to note, he's 17% with 2 sprints to a route. So you put that in. He's good at everything. But I did go with speed control in here. He's dropping a level and returning to the main track. He followed that victory at this level. That was on a sealed, sloppy track. So he's going to get some moisture in the track today. He runs 3rd. It's again at 35 condition claimer, going a 2-turn mile on the turf. Carlos David, what is he, 29%, 30% with the surface switch?
Yeah.
I'm going there. Once again, we got it flip-flopped. What did you say? Oh, we got a video of. We're going to show of Yakati King and Awesome Train.
Yeah, these two knocked heads last time, and I think it's good to show, especially Yakati King, because he is now first off the claim for trainer Carlos David. So if you want to call him the other Carlos David runner, you can. Awesome Train did win this race, but he just gutted it out, really, on the rail. That was impressive. I thought Akati King probably should have won this race. It was a nice little stretch battle. It was decided very, very closely. And now when you switch to the Carlos David barn, oof, you're going to get that little extra.
Yeah, they said a neck. I think it was closer.
It was much closer. That's what I thought when I saw the replay, too. I was like, this is a bit close.
So, I mean, we got the top two flip-flopped, and then you got the number 5 horse in here, and that was in that race that we just saw.
Yep.
I backed it up with that Awesome Train just for the reasons we just shown. And you got the 6, Mr. Scatter, is what they call me mostly in the office.
This is very true.
She agrees right away.
I do.
Let's go to race number 6. It's going to be 1 mile and 70 yards on the Tapeta. These are maiden claimers, 3-year-olds and upward. Scratched the number 7 in here. Freakazoid. I like that name in there. And Samantha has a late pick 5 ticket she wants to show you.
Yep, I do. And I believe it's a 40-50 play for me here. We'll get into this race in just a second. Race 7, I singled the 8, Concrete Glory. I agree. The 7 and the 8 are the tough ones. I love Concrete Glory today. Race 8, the number 8 on top for me. That is Daniel Sun. First off the claim for Bobby DeBona. And race number 9, the 4 on top, Prevent for me. I know it's maybe silly to leave off one horse in this race now with the scratch bug that you mentioned earlier, but I do like Prevent a lot. And in race number 10, I do have the 10 on top.
Sudoku Terry.
Sudoku Terry.
Yeah, and you're absolute, Prevent looks like the horse to beat in there. So,
Yes.
To put that 4th horse in, it bumps your ticket up. And I think you did the right thing.
Yeah,
really.
we'll see. But we won't be saying that if the other one wins.
Usually we just put the hoodoo on it. So
there you go, yeah.
So what did you start it off with?
I scratch into the 6. I did have the 7 on top. I didn't trust the 7 a lot, but now the 6 last run. The 2 turns on the Tapeta, this horse has run well. He ran 1 mile and 1/8 last time, and it was a really good effort here. A barn that doesn't have a lot of horses. There's only 1-2 races on the year, but this is maybe a horse that can step up. This is a hard race.
Very hard race. I ended up going with the number 8 horse, Frosty the Roman. I was stretching out today to the 1 mile and 70 yards on the all-weather, as we let you know. Thought it was a sightseeing debut, going 5.5 furlongs on the main track. He's a lightly raced son of Frosted. Yep. He gets the nod versus the field. You look at this field, nobody wins. 0 for 16, 0 for 18. The members mentioned it. So I thought that I was going with a horse that's got some upside. We hope has some upside.
Yes.
I mean, there's horses here. Just go looking down, 0 for 18, 0 for 11. So, like you say, very tricky race. So maybe you go a little deeper. You saw it in my ticket. I went 4 deep in here because I was not sold on anybody.
Right.
And what else we got up there? The 1. Well,
the 1. This horse kind of leaves himself with too much to do, especially on a day like today. You want to be in the first flight of horses. That's what worries me about him. But one good thing about him is if somebody does, set some quick fractions, or maybe this horse will, from the rail, be a little bit closer because he's going to need to be.
I don't know if you're aware of this. There's a winner in every race. You know that.
Somebody's got to win.
Somebody
has to win
here.
These don't want to win, but somebody will.
Yeah, no. So it's just one of those races, and it makes good handicapping because you got to figure it out, So very good. So I went with the lightly raced horse. We'll go to race number 7. It's going to be a 1-turn mile on the main track. It's a starter optional claimer for 3-year-olds and upward. We do have a scratch in here of the number 4, Major King, and Brian, I believe, has a late pick 4 ticket that he put together. By the way, Brian will be joining us throughout the afternoon. He's on an assignment working on that Maryland Million, which is Saturday, next Saturday. Next Saturday, which is a big race always in Maryland.
Hopefully they get good weather. I remember last year they were complaining about the cold. $30 the play here, and no singles. And I don't blame him because it is a tough sequence here. You see race 8, that's the big spread, and I can't fight him there. I'm interested to see. Oh, you've got Daniel Sun on top, and he's using that horse as well. Race number 9, the 4 and the 6, those are the 2 major players here. And in the finale, the 10 and the 5, he's got your Dialythic there, a $30 play. I didn't see. I mean, I thought this race was a little bit easier than just using 3 horses, but.
In race 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's show Concrete Glory the replay of that so we can. I agree. I'd flip-flop Proverb and Concrete Glory, but this horse is tough.
This is what you like to call, I'm going to steal this from you, window dressing here. Because this horse was so impressive. He's had a little bit of a spotty record, but when he's on, wow, he is on, and it looks like he's back on the right track here. They're bringing him back a little quick, all right? If you want to poke holes, maybe that's it. For a horse that has had a very spotty race record, that he is back a little quick, but he loves this track. He's 9 for 14, and he's won 13 races from 31 starts. He's a win machine.
Well, if you like Safi, you could look with the one that I put on top with Proverb, who's certainly back at the friendly confines of Gulfstream Park after failing to handle a 10-starter allowance runs at Churchill. This is an 8-year-old. He was on that 4-race win streak before going up to Churchill, so he loves it here. So we'll see how he runs. Proverb, Concrete Glory. I think that the race has got to go through those two. Maybe you throw the 2 on in here, Thought.
Yeah, Thought is another horse that, for Fernando Abreu and the Patter Pop Racing connections, you have to pay attention to. And we're going to get back to the dirt. This is the first time on the dirt for Fernando Abreu, too, which is a good sign. Yeah,
so we'll see how it runs in this. So that's race number 7, and then we'll see what plays out there. Race number 8 this afternoon was originally scheduled for 1 mile and 1/16 on the turf. Now to be run at that same distance, but it'll be on the Tapeta. And we do have a scratch in here of the number 4, Cupid's Dude. So still got a nice full field of 9. And it doesn't, I'm glad, we both got Daniel's son. I thought Daniel's son was the one to beat in here.
Yeah, I thought so too. And there seems like there's some heat up front in this race, Ron, and he can sit a nice trip. I think he's only has 1 win on the Tapeta surface, but he's hit the board, and I love the fact that Bobby DeBona got in and claimed him.
Yeah, and a couple of stats which you can find on the Daily Racing Form. He's 26% with new claims, 23% with the all good angles. So we'll see how it goes. I was going to say turf, but it's not on the turf. And he does good work with Sammy Camacho in the saddle. Yes. But there are other ways to go. You saw that Brian wasn't sold on this and went a little deeper in there. And we both have the number 7, Light Fury. I can't believe this horse is going to be 8-1.
It'll be interesting to see where the bettors go, because this horse is coming off of a nice win at Colonial. Now, granted, it was a non-winners of a race in a year, and this horse honestly had to win, just wired the field. But had some horses come back and win again after that race.
Yeah, you just try and figure you're going to translate that to the Tapeta. He's had 6 races on it, a win, a second, and a third, so we know he can handle it. And, it's going to be wide open anyway because of the surface switch in there, so we're in agreement. Now, what'd you see with the number 1 in Swan Lake?
Swan Lake is back to a claiming tag after trying tougher competition, way tougher competition, first off the claim for Carlos David. This is a big drop. This was also a reclaim for Carlos David. The last time these connections of Drayden, Carlos, and the Tapeta was a win.
Yeah, and, I was talking the other day. I was joking around in our office. I said, Carlos David on Sunday's got a chance to win about 5 races.
You're not lying.
If things plays out right. So, a logical contender in there. And, I didn't miss him. You know why I didn't have him? Because I liked him better on the turf.
I don't
the horse
blame
better
you.
on the turf, so I just flip-flopped it. And this is the leg A of the Coast to Coast on Sunday. So just write that down. And that talking about paying great. What does Pete call it? Overlay City or something like that?
And it's good. It's 2 races today from Gulfstream and 3 from Santa Anita, and they've got some nice turf stakes for the 2-year-olds at Santa Anita.
Yeah, they've had some really nice races the last couple of days there, so we'll see how that plays out. So make sure we'll let you know throughout the afternoon about that. Let's go to race number 9. It's mile and a 16th on the Tapeta allowance optional claimer, and this one is for 3-year-olds, and everybody scratched out. Not everybody. The 2, 3, and the 5 in here. And you know what? We have a video of the 2 horses that we like that stayed in.
It worked out perfect. There are some others in here, but what we really want to focus on is Prevent and Freedom Principle here. And Prevent is just a really cool horse. He really gutted this race out. And, to be honest, Freedom Principle on the rail, he had a tougher time of it, actually, I think. The Prevent had the better trip.
Yeah. You got the better trip, and that's always what you do when you show these replays.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Okay, a horse might be in front or win the race, but another horse might have done, as we always say, the dirty work in there. So those are the logical two in there. I know you also used the 7 in there. Oishis, you could throw it in.
Yeah, this is just a horse that is a new face,
Right.
and you look at the last time this horse was on the Tapeta, it was against just straight 3-year-olds, but it was a stakes race too. So I think that this is maybe a good sign, and we have a Misael Jaramillo aboard, and that's another good sign.
Yeah, that was a good race, and not surprising. He finished third in that race. He's right there, so I think he can run well. And that's the thing. So you went 3 deep.
I did.
Do you go with another horse in there? It's hard to do that because it makes your ticket twice as expensive.
It does, but he's drawn very well in this short field.
Well, our last race today was going to be 1 mile and 1/16 on the turf. Oh, no. It's going to be the same distance on the Tapeta today. So let's start it off with your 10 horse in here, Sudoku Terry.
Well, it's Rohan Crichton. The day that he was on the Tapeta last out, we had a flash storm before, remember?
Wow.
It was pretty, there was puddles on the Tapeta. We were out here. It was just very, very rainy. By the first race, there was just a lot of water sitting on the Tapeta, and it just hadn't soaked up yet. But this horse, to me, you toss that race, I'm just looking at the fact that this filly is drawn perfect, and again, it's Rohan.
Yeah, and 5 dialectic that I used in my single in that Rainbow 6, she said it earlier, it's just the speed for Elizabeth Doble. You look at this horse, the last one on the Tapeta was up on the engine, it was 25 condition claimers, now it's 16. Those horses proven to me last time that he can set the pace and run well. And we've mentioned numerous times, and you can watch the races, usually when we have a little rain, the speed is better. You don't have to be on the lead in the Tapeta, but it's a little bit better.
Yeah, it is. And that was a tough race for the $25,000 level, honestly. It really was. The winner came back to win again. You just look at some of those horses. Those are ones that we've seen in, allowance optional claiming races in the past.
Now you got Captivating Sound, and this is Jorge Delgado. And, it's stepping up today, in and out.
This horse... I don't think that this horse liked the Tapeta last time, but I'm just going to give her the benefit of the doubt because, I think that she can run a little bit better.
Now, Eddie Please's horse, the number 3, Shining Sky. I like that win last time out. This was constantly running this horse on the turf, right?
Yep.
They keep it in. That's intriguing to me today with Ed Garzias.
I think so too, because they tried this horse back in the thick of the championship meet in a nice little maiden 35 level, and this horse really didn't have a shot. Now we're going to get to see this horse for the first time, after a win on the Tapeta, just the second Tapeta start, and maybe this horse can step up. It'll be interesting. I like the fact that Edgar Zayas stayed aboard here. I think that's encouraging. But, man, this filly, she leaves herself with a lot to do. She comes from the clouds.
Oh, no, she needs the perfect setup in front. So, but does someone goes with dialectic, she's going to get the pace that she needs. I was it seemed not curious, it's intriguing is the better word, that Eddie kept his horse in the race. And what I mean by Eddie Please Jr., of course, excellent trainer, has been that way for thousands of years here in South Florida.
Somebody older than you?
No, not quite.
Okay.
She always gets the age one in. Well, what done for the 10 races, right? But we got the lightning round.
We do have the lightning round, and big doings in this, the Coast to Coast. Again, it's back between here, Santa Anita, our sister track, and Gulfstream. And today, it is a nice little sequence. I was just taking a look at it. It kicks off here in race number 8 from Gulfstream, and then we move over to Santa Anita for the Surfer Girl, and that's a nice little stakes on the grass there. And then we've got another race from Gulfstream, and the last 2 from Santa Anita, which includes the Zuma Beach.
Daniel's son, if you like that horse like we do,
Yeah, you
in
single.
race number 8, you single it there,
Exactly.
and this thing, look, you saw it, 15% low takeout.
Yeah.
And tell you, Pete's absolutely on point when he says that
It's
this
a
pays.
$1 minimum, and it pays well. I feel like sometimes it slips under the radar because there's so many amazing things to bet, like the Tropical Tapita Pick 3.
And then you got the Tropical Tapita Pick 3 today.
Yep.
We have, and it's always in races 4, 8, and 10 this afternoon.
Yep, but again, another $3 minimum wager, 15% takeout. What a fantastic bet to play, just so player friendly. I like it.
Well, your best bet this afternoon?
It's in the first race, actually. Excuses for me.
Oh, the excuses in mine, we talked about, is in the last race.
Yeah.
It's the 5 Dialectic, and I lost my long shot. I know that.
Oh, okay. So mine's in the second race with God with us.
God with us, 8. So right away, you got best bet. Second race, you got your long
I
shot.
love it. Yeah, I like playing the double that way.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
I'm going to back up.
You're a big double fan, I heard.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big double fan, all right. No, I am. I like that. So, that's it. We got plenty of time for Pete to give us changes. It's going to be a nice day here. We got the Rainbow Six with $100,000 guesstimate in it. We also have, as we just shown, the Coast to Coast. So lots of things to bet here at Gulfstream Park. And as I said, Brian will be joining us a little later on. For me, for Samantha, we'll be right back.